Hey everyone, Slambo here, hopping on another contest. Got a couple more to do before the end of the month, so let's get on to this one. This one is for Ron Haggerty's Vinyl Pasta. He's doing a contest about your favorite year in music, and I based all of my selections around the answer to one of the questions in this list, and it'll be pretty obvious why I did that once I get down to it. So the first question is, show an overrated album from the year you're picking. Well, the year I'm picking is 1986. And like I said, it relates down to the answer to one of the questions that's coming up a little bit later. But in 1986, there was this record from Europe called The Final Countdown. And the song itself just doesn't do it for me. And I ended up hearing it everywhere when I was on an exchange trip in Argentina in 1987. And it's just, when it gets overplayed too much and it's a song that doesn't really grab me in the first place, that tends to lead to overrating in my mind. So Europe, The Final Countdown, is my answer for an overrated record from the year that I've chosen, 1986. Second question, show an underrated album. This is one that is in my collection, and this one is Art of Noise, Invisible Silence. Art of Noise is one of those bands that sort of combines rock, jazz, and noise music and found sounds into some pieces that are very well done, I think. The big ones on here, there's Legs, which is the fourth track, Paranoia. They did a collaboration with the Max Headroom people for the video on that one, and there's a special version of Paranoia with Max Headroom talking in the song as well. Peter Gunn is also another big one they did. They redid the theme song in Art of Noise style for Peter Gunn. Then we've got a couple of other things on here that I liked a lot. Instruments of Darkness is really good. Opus 4, which starts off the record, is really good. This is one of my favorite records from the year, so I'm not going to include it down at the bottom because I've got another one from this band to show later. But Art of Noise, Invisible Silence is what I'm picking for an underrated album from 1986. Then the third question, show a comeback album. Well, this one was released in 1996 on CD. But as far as I can tell, most of the stuff on here was from 1986 as well. So I'm going with Napoleon XIV, The Second Coming. I'm not going to point things out. There's this adult joke there that I'm sure you can tell. But this one has, of course, They're Coming to Take Me Away, haha. But it's also got the follow-up song, I'm Happy They Took You Away, haha, by Josephine XV. Then it's got a bunch of other things that Napoleon XIV has sung. Can You Dig It is a good one. I Owe a Lot to Iowa Pot. The Nuts on My Family Tree. I Live in a Split Level Head. Goofin' on the Job. Let's Cuddle Up in My Security Blanket. The Place Where the Nuts Hunt the Squirrels. Doin' the Napoleon. Photogenic Schizophrenic You. There's 20 tracks on here, and a few of them were recorded brand new for the CD. So there's some neat stuff on there. This is a Rhino reissue. Oops, there we go. So that's what I'm picking for my comeback album, is Napoleon XIV, The Second Coming. And the next question is the question that led to me picking 1986. The question is, what is your favorite debut album? Anyone who's watched my videos for a while knows how much I love They Might Be Giants. And this is their debut album, ostensibly from 1986. Some people put this as 1984. Officially, as far as I can tell, this was 1986, but They Might Be Giants is my favorite debut album from 1986. Then the next question, not the last question here, there's one more in there. An album you wish you had from that year, for me, 1986. Well, with my collection of comedy and listening to a certain radio show from the mid-70s all the way until I moved away from California in 1992, that would be the Dr. Demento show, and there are radio transcription records of his shows from 1986, and I'd love to have some of those in my collection. I've got a bunch of tapes that I recorded from the radio, so I probably have most of the shows from that era, but I'd love to get the radio transcription records. So now the last question, your top 5 favorite albums from that year. And it took me a little bit to research this one, partly because the Discogs list doesn't always show things by year of release. People don't always know what year things were released in. So I'm just going with 5 records that have a connection with 1986. 4 of them were released in 1986 as far as I can tell. So first off, we've got Kippadada, Life in the Slaw Lane. And if you saw my entry for Rachel Music Mam's contest about lyrics, I recited the lyrics from one of Kippadada's other songs. This was the follow-up to that song, Life in the Slaw Lane. The song was, of course, Wet Dream. And then we've also got, from Bonzo Dog Band, Tadpoles. This is another favorite. It's got a lot of airplay on my show when I was doing the radio show. This one has Hunting Tigers Out in India, Shirt, Alibaba's Camel, Mr. Apollo, and I'm the Urban Spaceman. Of course, you gotta have that one. And by this time, they were just Bonzo Dog Band. They dropped the Doodah out of their name. So they started out as the Bonzo Dog Doodah Band, and toward the end of the group's career, it just became the Bonzo Dog Band. So Tadpoles from the Bonzo Dog Band is my next pick for that. And then we've got another one that I know at least one other VC member has, and that's Howie Mandel, Fits Like a Glove. This is Howie Mandel doing some of his stand-up routines in 1986. And then another one that's a reissue. This was originally released in 1965, but it was reissued in 1986, and that's the music from the Addams Family TV show, composed by Vic Mizzy. So of course this has the famous theme song, and I can't snap my fingers anymore. I don't know why, but they just there. There's a couple of little snaps, but I cannot get a snap as good as the snaps in the song. Then there's a couple of other things on here. There's Morticia's theme, there's Lurch's theme, One Little, Two Little, Three Little Tombstones, The Addams House, Hide and Go Shriek, The Anxiety Tango, and another track called Laugh, I Thought I'd Die. So the Addams Family TV series music. The last one that I want to show is one recorded in 1986, but not really issued until this year, just a month or two ago. Art of Noise, In the City, live in Tokyo, recorded in 1986. So this was when they were doing their Invisible Silence tour. This was recorded in Tokyo. It's a 2-record set. The record sides are side T, side A, side O, and side N. So T-A-O-N, The Art of Noise. So this one just came out. It lists 3 songs per side, but this plays at 33, so they're nice long songs. So Art of Noise, In the City, live in Tokyo in 1986 is the last one that I'm showing from that year. So there's my contest entry for Ron Haggerty's Vinyl Pasta, showing records from, and CDs in my case, also from what I'm picking as my favorite year in music, 1986, because my favorite band released their debut album in 1986, and of course that's They Might Be Giants with their self-titled debut album. So that's what I've got today. See you next time.